All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the last time that the Cincinnati Bengals won a playoff game before today, things were very different in the world of professional sports. Bo Jackson was the starting running back for the Los Angeles Raiders. The Tennessee Titans were still the Houston Oilers. Michael Jordan had yet to win an NBA championship, and the Cincinnati Reds were fresh off of winning the World Series. This is just a few things. But since then, the Bengals have become a laughing stock around the NFL as they spent the rest of the decade of the 1990s picking very early in the NFL draft, while the 2000s and 2010s would see the Bengals make the playoffs 7 times, only to be one and done each time. But there is something different about this current edition of the Bengals is after going 2 and 14 in 2019, this organization drafted quarterback Joe Burrow first overall, and Burrow, who was showing signs of brilliance in his rookie year before he tore up his knee, he bounced back this year, and not only did he help the Bengals win the AFC North for the first time since 2015, he just helped them win their first playoff game since Sam Wyche was their head coach and Boomer Esiason was their starting quarterback. Now, you look at this game today, and first and foremost, Paul Brown Stadium was buzzing. Cincinnati was able to score on their first 5 possessions, and that was huge. Quarterback Joe Burrow was 24 of 34 passing for 244 with a pair of TDs, while his big play wide receiver Jamar Chase had 9 grabs for a buck 16. Now, of course, you think about this game, people are going to talk about the controversial touchdown for the Bengals just prior to the end of the first half when Burrow connected with Tyler Boyd in the back of the end zone. It looked like Burrow was going out of bounds, and he was. However, he was able to get the football out of his hands before he reached out of bounds. However, there was a whistle blown on the field. Now, you listen to it, they're saying that it's non reviewable. However, when a whistle is blown, the play should be done over, and who knows how things could have changed. But at the end of the day, it's neither here nor there. And I guarantee you, for the Cincinnati fan base, they've seen their fair share of calls go against them for the past 31 years. So I guarantee you right now, they are more than happy to have a break in their favor. Now, there's a big portion of the Bengals fan base that has never seen this team win a playoff game prior to today. And I know that Cincinnati had numerous home playoff games under former head coach Marvin Lewis, but there was just something different. There was a different feel when the Bengals took the field today. There was also a different vibe in the stadium from the Bengals fans. They really felt like this was going to be their day, and it was. Credit to Zach Taylor, the young head coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. He had his team ready to play, and he's had his team ready to play all year long. And you think about Joe Burrow and what he has meant to this Bengals franchise in a very short period of time. We saw him have that spectacular 2009 with LSU, where he won the national championship while also winning the Heisman Trophy. Right now, Joe Burrow could run to be the mayor of Cincinnati, and he probably win in a landslide. That's how popular that this young man is in the Queen City right now. And the Bengals, they finally exercised some demons as an organization. Now let's see if they could take that next step, get on a playoff run. And in order for the Bengals to get on a playoff run, they're going to have to do something that they've never done before, which is to win a road playoff game. Playoff games in general are difficult to win in the National Football League, and they're always a little bit tougher on the road. But now Cincinnati has to find a way to do that. We don't know where the Bengals are going to be playing next week. Will they be in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans? Will they have to take a trip to Western New York to take on the Buffalo Bills? It's looking like that right now, at least, because the Bills are blowing out the Patriots. They're taking care of their part. But still, a lot rides on what happens tomorrow night between Pittsburgh and Kansas City in order to determine where Cincinnati will be next week. But nonetheless, it's going to be a hostile environment one way or the other, and they have to find a way to win their first road playoff game next weekend if they are going to win their first Super Bowl championship in franchise history. And of course, we got a ways to go to get there. But for the Bengals, I said this is a situation in the postseason. It could be either feast or famine. I could see them being one and done. I could also see them getting on a roll with Joe Burrow. The Bengals are hot. Joe Burrow is hot. You look at Jamar Chase, he is playing like the best receiver in the National Football League. And honestly, now that the Bengals have exercised those demons, and I know a lot of these guys on this roster were not around for the Bengals' futility in the playoffs during the 2010s, but nonetheless, and now that they've exercised some demons, I really feel, and I granted you don't want to like take these trips for granted and say, oh, we'll get them next year because obviously next year is not guaranteed. But nonetheless, at this point, I feel like Cincinnati's playing with house money because this year, more than most recent years in the playoffs in the NFL, it's a crapshoot more than ever because any one of like 10 or 11 teams has a legit shot to win the Lombardi trophy. So I feel like the Bengals can get hot. They can get on a run. We'll have to wait and see what they do for the rest of the postseason. They could lose next week, obviously. But nonetheless, I feel like going forward, Cincinnati's playing with house money. Joe Burrow's hot. Jamar Chase is hot. And let's see how far they can ride this wave of momentum for Who Day. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There is also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.